yesterday and today?
I mean, just getting the opportunity to get out there and compete yesterday was a gift. I mean, that was my first time playing in college ever, so just to get out there, and I think I was a little pumped up. So to get the first hit out of the way, like on my first at-bat, was huge. And then to continue on to the next game and still get good pitches to hit and put good swings on it was, I mean, really all I could ask for.
What's the past year been like for you waiting for this opportunity?
I don't think there's a word to describe it except it's just, I mean, last year was a long year, and it was, you have to be very patient. And then getting to play over the summer, getting at-bats, and then coming back here, just ready to compete, and then see if my name gets called. That was awesome that it did, and just did my thing.
At what point did you know you were going to redshirt? Did you know at this time last year that was kind of the plans, and Cam kind of had first base locked down, or?
I really was never told that I was being redshirted. It was just kind of a thing, and I was confused and probably angry, and just that's just me, because I've played every single game my whole life, started, and just to come here and like kind of be like take a step back, it's kind of humbling, and it makes you want to work harder.
So how did you put that time to use?
Spent a lot of time with Torrey Stevens in the weight room. I was down probably 190 pounds, and it wasn't a good look, so I was just started eating every day, doing things right, and then I eventually, now I'm at 230, I think. So just lifting and eating was a huge part of it.
So how do you feel in terms of confidence, or now just with the work that you put in, where you are maybe now compared to this time last year?
I think I've always had the same confidence. My confidence has never wavered, but it's just the fact that getting to go in there and do something was huge, and being able to impact a game was awesome.
Did you get to travel at all? Did you travel last year?
I traveled to one conference, which was K-State. Maybe thought I was going to play there, but I mean, it just didn't go that way. Maybe for the best, probably a blessing in disguise, but now that I'm here and got my opportunity, I just want to roll with it.
What makes this young lineup, top to bottom, just so dangerous already? We've seen it after one series. Y'all putting up, what, 50-something runs in a couple games?
That's crazy that we put up that many runs, but it's just guys going up there every single time. They want to get their pitch to hit, and they want to, I mean, do damage. Top to bottom, Cal Conley, Jace, Rombach, Dylan Carter. I mean, I got to look here. I mean, all those guys, even Noisy, everybody's getting their pitch to hit, and we're not missing it. So it's kind of just like, obviously it doesn't go that way every single game, but as long as we can, like, have a couple barrels, barrels, then I think we're good.
What's the mood in the dugout been like this weekend when Nate steps up to the plate? Does it even a surprise when he hits his fifth today?
I mean, nobody's on the bench. We're all on the railing, just waiting for another ding dong. So we're just sitting there. We're like, he's got to hit another one. There's no way he won't. But he's doing really good right now.
When you have so many talented guys and so many talented hitters, even ones who aren't in the lineup currently, does that drive each one of you individualistically, even when it's 14-3, that, hey, I got to keep hitting, because if not, there's always someone behind me who can hit as well?
I mean, yeah, that goes to the back of your head every time you have the opportunity to play. You're like, you don't want to, like Coach Tadlock says, you want to get Wally pipped. So you come out for maybe an at-bat and somebody else gets in there, does a good job, then they're in there the next day, and then it's just kind of like, man, I probably didn't. And then you just don't want that to happen. So
Is that kind of a, I guess, the depth of the lineup, I guess, kind of a blessing and a curse in that, like you said, the extra pressure, but also having so many guys put pressure on the pitcher when you do get your chance in the lineup. Does that kind of make it easier in getting a pitch to hit due to the fact that they can't let up 1 through 9, the pitcher can't?
Yeah, I mean, our lineup is pretty stacked, so there's not a guy that you can just go up there and be like, oh, he's an out. There's just not. So, I mean, having people behind you that can hit and in front of you that can hit, and then people also on the bench that can hit. I mean, you want to do your part and just do your job and get things done.
Being the first baseman and having kind of an interesting view of the infield, especially when there's a grounder hit other places, how would you describe and sum up this infield defense? Because there's a lot of guys who are either in new positions because they're freshmen or there was just someone else there last year.
Poetry in motion. I mean, everybody fields the ball, throws it over there perfectly. So, I mean, that's all a first baseman can ask for is just get it to me any way you can, and we'll get the out. Questions?
How'd you feel Thursday?
Really good, yeah. Best I've felt, and I've been feeling good for the past couple of weeks, so yeah.
How much did you pitch last weekend, or how many pitches did you throw here in the squad to kind of get prepared, get ready?
Yeah, well, I probably threw, I don't know exactly pitches wise, but I probably threw about 4 or 5 innings or so.
And so today was just a day about what you expected in terms of the length that you went.
Yeah, I mean, kind of watching the other guys, I saw that they weren't gonna overpitch anyone necessarily or underpitch. So
For you, kind of, I guess last year to this year, what's the biggest stride you've made?
Well, gosh, I don't know. Last year I definitely started off hot and then kind of started to struggle. But I'd say just kind of focusing in on what I needed to do to get better. I knew I kind of maybe lost some feel or whatever. So I just knew that I kind of keep working with Gardner or Torrey and just see and kind of progress to see what I can do to get better. So yeah, I'd just say kind of putting my foot down and focusing in on what I need to do to get better.
Mentally, when you go through that struggle, especially when you start out kind of hot, and I can only assume because you're playing at Texas Tech that you didn't struggle a lot in high school. How does that go, and how do you get through that?
Yeah, no, it's definitely tough, especially like you said, out of high school. A lot of these guys, if not, I mean, every single one of them, definitely dominated in high school. For me, is also one of the first times I've kind of started to struggle. So it's definitely a tough thing to kind of get over and start to realize. But then again, you just kind of got to fall back on what do I know. What do I need to do to kind of start to achieve more success, and it kind of taught me just to, if I get an opportunity, go out there and capture it. Don't let it kind of slip away.
Did you have any eye-opening moment last year? A moment where the ball gets hit and you think, wow, that would have gotten out in high school.
Gosh, I don't know. There's definitely, I'd say midway through the season or towards the beginning, like around Texas or maybe a little after, kind of started to realize that this is the real deal. We got to go full force at it, and I kind of, like I said, I started to struggle, but then again, kind of worked through it, and now I'm here. So.
Is there a guy, I know you talked about coaching, is there maybe a guy on the staff that you leaned on last year for advice and kind of helped to get through it?
Gardner for sure worked with me every day. Actually last year when I started to have some tough times, Gardner would start to throw with me every day. One-on-one, whether that be before practice, during. He kind of spent a lot of time with me and kind of helped me through it, and got some drills going and stuff like that. But definitely Gardner probably.
What do you want to build as your role this season in this pitching staff?
Gosh, I'd say most pitchers want to be a weekend starter, but as right now it's going good. But we got so many arms. You got y'all saw 4 guys on this weekend that shoved. But for me, obviously I want to be a starter, but more importantly, I kind of just want to be put in a role to wherever I can impact the game. you know, whether that be in the pen, starter, closer, whatever. Just kind of somewhere that I can have an impact for the team.
When you
You
weren't,
kind of alluded to it there, but looks like the competition level for weekend starting jobs on this team is going to be pretty intense.
Yeah, I mean, you got Bonin, Beater, Becker, and me that threw this weekend. We all did really good. And I mean, there's probably still, obviously Micah did really well last year, and so he's another starter that you know that can go out there. I mean, there's at least probably one or two more guys that can go out there on any given time and do a good job. So it's definitely competitive.
what when you watched from afar, when you weren't on the mound in this weekend, what maybe most impressed you about this year's team? Because you've been on a team that went to the World Series last year. This time a lot of new guys, a lot of young guys. But what impressed you about him?
Well, the offense definitely impressed me. You know, every one of those, that's just crazy. It's like 50-something runs, but that caught my eye. I expected to, put some runs up, but every one of these guys, even the freshmen, all of them are hitting the ball well, going deep into at-bats. And then pitching-wise, gosh, Becker came in new, Bonin came back, Beater starting. I mean, they all did amazing. And then, you had some pen guys that threw today that also did really good. So it kind of just, I don't know, gave me some confidence in the team, more so than I already had.
The fact that you've been here for a full year now, you've seen everything from the start to all the way to Omaha. You feel a little more relaxed now that you kind of know how everything, know how stuff works around here, or is it still, are you still in a spot where you don't really feel like you can relax?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different from being a freshman. Like when you're a freshman, you want to go out, you have to feel kind of pressured to really just make sure when you get your opportunity, you make the most of it. But then again, also, like now that I'm a sophomore, I kind of know how it goes. You just do what you can do. Can't control anything that you can't control. But then you also have the competitiveness of the team, and you always got to be on your feet, whether that be competing for a spot or just competing against other teams.